there. Today for the ARC, we are going to be doing Pilates on an exercise ball, physio ball, big ball, whatever you want to call it. It adds an extra element of challenge since it's an unstable surface. Therefore, let's just think about a couple cautions. Bare feet will help you, or shoes will be more stable. If you're wearing socks, make sure they have those little sticky nubs under them. And then let's just start with a little bit of bounce. That'll help kind of warm you up, a little tiny bit of cardio here, but that'll also give us an idea of a couple other things you can do to keep yourself safe and also give yourself a big challenge. So go ahead and step your feet wide, and you should feel a little more secure in this bounce. You might even be able to bounce a little higher. So a wider base of support is going to be more stable. Now, if you bring your feet to touch, skinny little base of support, you might feel a little wobblier, and that will be more challenging. So hip distance apart is going to be your typical place to have your feet, and if you need wider base of support, feel free to do that. And then we're going to add that little base of support out and base of support in, narrow and wide, wide and narrow, and a little jumping jack if you want, only if you feel secure and safe doing this, just to get our heart rate warmed up again. And then you can leave them out, you can bring them in, you can pulse your arms, just move on this ball, get used to that surface. We'll just do a few more of these. Another thing I want you to keep in mind is that you should keep your ball and your feet on the mat or off of the mat, but not your ball off the mat and your feet on the mat if it's slippery. All right, let's slow that down. As you continue to bounce just a little bit, find a beautiful format in your torso. In Pilates, we don't let this bouncing in the lower body translate to the upper body. We stay like a ballerina lifted up. Now, bring your knees so that they are right in front of your hip bones and they are right over your ankles. So this will be our neutral position. And I'm going to go ahead and turn sideways so you can see me a little better. But you're going to keep that neutral position. And then you're just going to walk your legs straight out and then let your body slide in so that your knees end up directly over your ankles. You should be hinged back at maybe a slight angle, so you should feel your abs already. You'll also feel your quads. From there, let's open our arms, and that will add more challenge. You want to keep your head in line with your spine, back of the neck is long, already feeling those abs, feeling those quads, making sure those feet are right underneath. And then we're just going to allow our body to go slightly over the ball and then slightly up. Small move. We're not pulling on our neck like that. We're keeping our arms low or wide. The more you bring your arms overhead, the more challenge it will be. And we're not sitting all the way up. We're keeping that tension on the abs the whole time. Ribs are pulled in. Last 3, last 2, last 1. Stay down. I want you to go a little farther so that now that ball comes underneath your low back and your booty is off and your head is off. We're going to take our 2 peace sign fingers of each hand. We're going to let our body drape over the ball, and then we're going to close the ribs and bring our forehead parallel with the ceiling. Again, we're not pulling on the neck. We're allowing that chin to stay in a neutral position. We inhale up and over the ball, and we exhale to close the ribs. Inhale up and over, and exhale to close. Just a reminder, it'll be more stable if your legs go wider and more challenging if they go narrow. And then if you want to add on, we'll add a little squeeze of the glutes as you come up. So squeeze those glutes as you lift, up and over. Squeeze the glutes as you lift, up and over. One more time. Squeeze, and then we're going to stay there, but we're going to add that next level. And so we're going to walk out a little farther, but now our head is supported on the ball. And then you're just going to try a little bit of balance here, so you might want to bring your arms sideways. First thing you want to do is squeeze those glutes. Head is resting. More challenging, bring your feet to touch. So now again, you're in that narrow stance. Might feel more wobbly. Little test, could you lift a foot? If you could lift a foot, could you lift a knee? If you could lift a knee, could you lift that whole leg up in the air? Right? So just try a few of those, alternating, lifting your leg, trying to keep your balance, and trying to keep your booty lifted up. Use those glutes. So again, little extra challenge here. Keep going, try a couple more. And your last challenge would be to lift the leg up, hold it for a moment, maybe even circle it, and then bring it down. And then we're going to curl that chin towards the chest. You can use your hands as needed. And we're going to roll back up to that seated position and relax those shoulders. Now we're going to come all the way down to the ground. And we're going to do a few of the more traditional Pilates exercises using this ball to start with. So as we come down, I want you to bend your knees and bring that ball between your inner thighs. And you might have to hold it down with your hand because I want you to squeeze this as hard as you can until you feel your inner thighs engage, and you may also feel your abs engage. Relax that squeeze and exhale, squeeze again. Inhale to relax. Exhale to squeeze 2 more times. Inhale to relax. Exhale, squeeze it as hard as you can. Hold, hold, hold. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now release the squeeze and lift your legs up so your shins are parallel with the ground. Abs are drawn in. Back of the neck is long. We're going to tuck our hips down into our ribs down into our hips. And on an exhale, we're going to staple our belly button to the spine. On an inhale, we're going to let those legs move away from the body. And on an exhale, we slowly bring them up. We're not going to swing them up. We're going to use control as we move the legs away from the body and control as we lift that back up. If you want to add a little lovely element, as you lower, then you squeeze on that ball and lift back up. You might notice I'm pointing on the way down and flexing on the way up. Feel free to do that. If you have some knee issues, you might want to flex on the way down and on the way up. And then if you're ready for a little more challenge, we slide the ball a little lower on the leg, higher up, and we straighten out the legs. So now we have a longer lever. That's going to create more resistance. Palms are open to the sky. Back of the neck is long. Staple that belly button. Inhale, lower those legs, and exhale to lift. And again, you'll notice I'm not going so far down with my legs that my low back will lift or my ribs will pop up. So keep that nice control. Keep that going. Inhaling to lower and exhaling to lift. And again, you can add that little squeeze on the ball before you come up. And then we're going to take a quick break. Grab that ball with your hands, feet back down on the ground. We're going to go back to that one in just a minute, but let's give our body a quick break here. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift the ball towards the sky, and then reach your arms over your head. We call this ab prep exercise. Bring that ball down as you come down, exhaling. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to lift. Inhale, reach it over your head, and exhale down. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift. Inhale, reach. Exhale, down. Again, lift, reach, and down. Now, if you want to, you could add a little bounce here. Let the ball drop, catch it, and bring it down. Exhale, lift, inhale overhead, drop, catch, and down. That's not really adding any effort, it's just adding some fun. All right, and then we'll take a break. Now we're going to lift those legs into what we call tabletop. That means knees are directly over the hips and shins are parallel to the ground. We're going to go into double leg stretch. So you're going to float the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground, pull those ribs in, extend the legs and the arms in opposite direction, keep the torso lifted. Exhale, bend your knees just to tabletop, maybe tap the knees. Inhale to reach, and exhale, tap. Inhale, reach, exhale, tap. A couple options, reach, and then trade the ball to your legs, but you don't get to bring your knees in, you have to go up and trade off. Extend, and then trade. Again, lift yourself up, rather than bring the ball into you. Lift yourself up and reach. Good. And one last option, stack the knees, and then you come up and you're gonna see if you could roll that ball up to your ankles without kicking your feet out. Roll back down and extend. So roll it up your shins to your ankles, pull your abs in, lower down with control, not all the way. Extend one more time like that, or whichever version you're doing. And then we'll take a break. All right, as promised, we're going back to that previous exercise. So legs up, ball between the legs, arms out into a T this time. We're going to start with what we call pendulum or tick-tock. Legs go side to side. When you're ready, you're going to rotate the ball so that when my legs go to the right, my left leg comes up, and when the ball goes to the left, my right leg rotates on top. And then if you want to, you could turn that into a circle. So that turns into what we call corkscrew. Make sure you go both ways. And then bend those knees, grab that ball. And we're gonna bring our knees in really close this time, put the ball on the ankle. We're gonna do what's called rolling like a ball. So we're gonna lift ourselves up, forehead towards your knees. You're gonna start with an exhale and see if you could get a little bit of rocking. Balance at the top. Roll and balance. And roll and balance. One more time, roll and balance. Did anybody kick their ball across the room? That's okay. All right, put the ball down. Sit yourself up and back so that you're on your sit bones. And then you're gonna extend forward with a flat back, not rounded, but extended. Push down on the ball to create space between your vertebrae and then hinge forward. You may be able to straighten out your legs, that's fine. This is just spine stretch, just gives us a quick little break before the next series. All right, speaking of that next series, I'm gonna fold my mat up so I have a little bit of cushioning. You may wanna do the same, just so that you have that extra cushioning under your knees. And this is also gonna put me back a little bit so that as we go through this and travel forward, it will make sense. Okay, so this is a modified pike and plank exercise. You're gonna start in the tiny little ball. Your elbows are almost on your knees. Your ball is right up against your forearms. You're all squished together. Then you're gonna roll forward. You're gonna lift your toes up in the air. Roll not onto your kneecaps, but onto the fronts of your thighs. Extend out, tuck your booty, pull your ribs in, flat back as much as possible, and exhale to curl back. That's the pike part. So you plank it, tailbone under, ribs in, and you pull back, piking it. So plank and pike. My shirt's a little baggy, but you're pulling your ribs in as much as possible. And one more time, plank it out and hold 3, 2, 1. Roll it back. Most people's favorite part of this is the flop. So let that body flop over your ball, and then you're gonna take your toes. I'm gonna move forward just a little bit. Take your toes, tuck them under, outside of your mat to straighten your legs. And you should end up with that ball right underneath your belly button and your hips. We're gonna give ourselves a nice back extension. Now we're starting just using it passively. My arms are doing the work. When you're ready for your back to work, come up onto your fingertips or bring your arms by your side and lift up. Flex through those heels, toes are tucked under, using some low back muscles to get here, squeezing those glutes together. And then we're gonna create that same exercise pattern in the spine, but in what we call reverse hyperextension. So now, come down so that your hips are the highest point of your body. Squeeze your legs together and lift your legs up together. So you should feel you're sort of working that same area of the body, but a different way. All right, now I want you to straighten your arms. And I'm going to roll back again just a little bit so you can see. Straighten your arms, make sure your hands are right underneath your shoulders, and you have about a foot of space between the ball and your hands, because now, whoops, you're going to lift your legs up, straighten them out so you're in a plank. You're going to bend your elbows backwards to touch the ball, and you become a seesaw. Pilates push-up. Head goes down, legs go up. Try and keep this as one unit. You don't want to hinge at your hips. If you need more challenge, your hands walk farther forward, the ball slides lower on your body. So now you have more weight above the ball, and that might create more challenge for you. So Pilates push-up, our elbows aren't going out to the side, they're coming back towards the ball. They should be working your triceps a little more. All right, next time you come up, we're going to stay up. So we're in a high plank. If you want more challenge, and I'm going to end up going off screen, so I'll switch around in a second. You walk your hands forward, you drag that ball, so now it's maybe underneath your knees. Make sure you're not sagging. You pull your ribs in, you squeeze your glutes, make sure your knees aren't bent, they're nice and straight. You press that floor away. And again, if you want more challenge, you drag your hands forward, you drag the ball underneath your shins, and again, I'm going to switch around, go back the other way. So eventually, you might even end up with that ball underneath your ankles or your feet. And you just want to keep pressing that floor away, pulling your ribs in, head in line with your spine, back of the neck is long. This is nutmeg, by the way. Beautiful. To come out of this, normally I would just have you drop a foot. But if you're alone at your house, you could try walking backwards. You don't have to, you can decide. But then eventually, or you can just take that foot off, then eventually you're going back into that flop. So go ahead, flop over that ball again for me. And the last thing we'll do from here is a bird dog and then a bird dog challenge. So you want to tuck those toes again, and they can be more narrow depending on where your mat is. Point your right toes, lift that leg. You don't want to lift it way up here, just even with your hips, and then left arm out. And then gently bring that down. Right arm, left leg, reach. And bring that down and just alternate. All right. Your last challenge from here, if you want, is Superman, which means you're going to lift all four limbs. Now, you might have to play with this a little bit and find out, how much weight is below the ball, how much is above it, can I straighten my arms, can I do bent, what do I need to do to create equal balance on both ends. Now, if your face gets close to the floor, put your hands down. No face plants on this, please. And then when you're ready, yes, you get to come down. You're going to flop one more time on our way over onto our spines for the next series. I'm only going to unfold my mat one time because I'm going to have my hips on the mat, but the ball is going to be off the mat. So I'm going to start out right in front of the mat so that when I lie down, I'm on the mat. My hips are on the mat, and we'll just stretch our legs out long. This is maybe not such a bad position either. It should be fairly comfortable. All right, we're going to turn this into our bridge, so we're going to be working our glutes and our hamstrings. Hands are wide apart. Deep breath in, exhale, lift your hips in a bridge. All right, for more challenge, you could, of course, walk your feet to touch. If you need more stability, bring them wide. If you want more challenge than that, could you hover your hands? If you want the last challenge, you'll just lift and lower one leg at a time, 3 times on one side, and then 3 on the other. All right, hips down. If you're ready for the next level, roll the ball towards you until your feet are at 1 o'clock, let's call it, on the ball. And then you'll lift up again, and you should be higher. So same options. If you need more stability, go wider. Less stability, go narrow. Challenge, arms up, or one leg at a time, inhale and exhale to lift and lower. Your opposite glute and hamstring will feel this one a little bit more. Make sure you do both legs 3 times. And then hips get to come down, but leave the ball where it is. If you want the third level, you're going to roll the ball forward until your heels are right on top of the ball. And that's the only thing that's touching the ball. So now when you come up, you should be quite high. And again, no hands, Mom. That's one option. Wide legs, narrow legs, lift and lower one leg. And of course the other. And then this time when you come down, you get to roll the ball back to our starting position, which should feel really good. Okay, now we're going to go into a glute and hamstring series. So hang in there with me. If you need a break, take it, but join me again. All right, bridge up. From there, we're going to bend our knees and drag the ball in. So pressing forward and back. Feeling this in your hamstrings and your glutes. Now for more challenge, shift the ball under your right foot only. Lift that left leg straight up in the air. Roll it in and out with your right foot. Do 4 more for me. Good. Left leg down, right leg up. Yep, here we go. Other leg. Four more. All right. Both legs on the ball. Roll it in. Knees are bent. Hips are going to lift. From there, we're going to lower our hips. We're going to lift our hips. Here we go. Up and down. Up and down. Squeeze those glutes on the way up. We're halfway. Lift and lift. Squeeze at the top. Knees in parallel. 2 more. And relax. If you're like me, that hamstring on each leg is on fire. So roll the ball under your left leg. Bring that right knee in towards your right armpit. Give it a nice stretch. Flex your toes back towards you. Reach down, grab your right big toe, and flex that foot towards the ceiling, but keep the knee down and in. Then you can straighten that leg. If you can hold the toes, that's great. Otherwise, move your hands down. Point, flex, rotate, and then bring the ball and your left leg back through center. Take that right leg, cross it over, bend the left knee, press that right knee open. Nice outer hip stretch here. And then finally, crisscross that right leg all the way over, tuck in, and now that should bring that deeper even into the IT band. And then we'll unravel and roll the ball under the right leg off to the right. Left knee comes into the left. Reach down, grab your left big toe with your left hand. Flex that heel to the sky. When you're ready, straighten it out. If you can't really hold onto your toe anymore, feel free to come down a little lower on your calf or higher. Point, flex, and move. Roll that ball back through center. Crisscross, a little bit higher than the ankle. As you bring that right knee in, you're pressing that left leg open. And then finally, cross that left knee all the way over the right. Hug it in and feel that stretch come deeper on the outside of that left side. And then again, we will come on off of that, and we're going to come up, and we're going to finish off with a little bit of sideline work here. So you may want to go ahead and fold your mat all the way out this time. And you're going to come onto your knees with the ball to your right. And then I'm going to lean on that ball. I'm going to take my top leg, right leg, left leg, in front, and bottom leg behind. I can use this bottom hand to lift. When I'm ready for more challenge, I extend my top arm. For more challenge, bottom arm goes to your shoulder. So you should feel your obliques. You might feel a little bit in that top hip. If you want more challenge, extend the bottom arm so you're in an L. More challenge would be a V, and the most challenge would be what we call candlestick or Charlie's Angels. Right up, squeezing your head with your biceps. 2 and 1, and then we'll stretch that out by bringing that top arm up and over. Flop, and you might feel a nice stretch right through your low back. And we'll do that on the other side. So switching over, lean that hip against the ball, top leg in front, bottom leg behind. Bottom hand on the ball at first to help you. Then if you don't need that, top arm is going to lift for more challenge, bottom arm same. Out into an L or a V, or crisscross, but maybe different pinky on top this time for your Charlie's Angel. Beautiful. Top arm rotates you over so you open up that part of your low back. A lot of people talk about the QL, quadratus lumborum, kind of helping stretch that area out right now. All right, one last little challenge, both a little bit of balance, a little bit of outer hip here. You're gonna go back with that ball to your right, but this time, you're gonna lean far enough over that your hand can be on the ground. And then your legs are gonna stack up, one on top of the other, and then you're gonna lift that top leg. So you should already feel woohoo, balance, a little bit wobbly, depending on where your hips are. And then what we're gonna do with that leg is point the toe and draw a golf ball size circle, tiny circle, and reverse it. Then let's make it a baseball. And reverse. If you need this hand on the ball for support, that's fine. If you can do it on your hip, that's better, or more challenging. Basketball, and basketball the other way. And then physio ball size circle. And reverse. Woo! And we get to do the other side. So switch that ball around, please. Get your hand down on the ground. Legs are gonna stack. Top leg is gonna lift, and we point the toe and start with little tiny circles. And reverse. Baseball size. And reverse. Basketball, and reverse, and then the big one, stable in your hips if you can, and reverse. Flip over, ball is underneath. All right. We are going to take a really nice stretch, and I'll give you variations. So we're gonna come down with our feet really close to our hips, and then we can just rest our head on the ball, arms open. If that's good enough, stay there. You want a little more, come up over your ball. Now, if you don't get vertigo or dizzy, and you don't have any cervical spine issues, you could go all the way up and over and let your head drop. And then to come out of this, we'll tuck our chin, we'll roll up, we will sit right on top of that ball. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Let's take a quick little stretch by bringing left leg over right. Add a little twist if you can. Reverse. And as you uncross those legs, wide stance, extend, round, extend. Bring those feet together. Thank you guys very much.